It's located at 850 Spear Point Lane. The Planning Commission met and, made a recommendation to approve the variance request as it had been filed. It does meet all of the zoning requirements. So we just need a motion and a second to approve that, variance. And vote.
Wishes of the commission.
I make a motion, Mr. Mayor, that we allow, this variance based on the recommendation of the planning commission prior to that.
Second. Okay. All in favor, raise your hand. Unanimous.
Item number 2 is reallocating ARPA funds for well number 6 repairs. We talked about it in the last meeting that well number 6 had significant, the pump was actually completely out. It's about a $75,000 expenditure. So we're requesting allocation of $50,000 of the ARPA funds and the balance of those funds to come from water sewer impact fees. And I just need a motion and a second for that.
So moved.
We have a second. All in favor, raise your hand. Unanimous.
We've got a time extension on agreement number MO112. That's the sewer hardening project. We'll get a little more into detail of that project in our grant update, but it is extending the time frame on that grant to 9/30/26. So I just need a motion and a second for that to be executed and returned to the Department of Commerce.
So moved. Okay, do I have a second on that? Second.
Okay, we also have a time extension agreement for MO172, which is the water hardening project. Also deadline of 9/30/26. We just need a motion, second, and vote to return that to the Department of Commerce.
Okay, first we need to vote on the 112.
Oh, sorry.
So all in favor of 112, raise your hand. Unanimous. No.
Again, on MO172, it's a time extension to 9/30/26.
Okay. Wishes of the commission.
Move to approve, number 172.
Second. Okay, all in favor, raise your hand. Unanimous.
We've got Will and Daniels with us tonight from David Melvin Engineering, but she and I have been working on something, and you actually have a resolution in your packet. And so what I'd like to do is let's go to that resolution and talk about this potential project. So the Rural Infrastructure Fund, we commonly call it RIF, has opened up a cycle, and there's a number of parameters related to eligibility. But I know that in the past, there's been a strong interest from the community, there's been a strong interest from staff and the commission to do some downtown commercial infrastructure improvements. And that does fall within the eligible projects of Rural Infrastructure Fund. And to further qualify what we're talking about as far as infrastructure improvements is, we're talking about sidewalk, not just improvements, but probably, replacement of some of the existing sidewalks, decorative street lighting, street signage, and then, potentially other recommendations from engineering as it relates to that scope of work. The area that, Will Ann and I went out and looked at and really felt like would benefit the most from this was actually the area of Brown Street, and there's actually a map that I've included in your packet. It's Brown Street from State Road 2 down to 4th Avenue, and then the area of 6th Avenue from Cliff Street to State Road 77, or excuse me, 6th Avenue, yes, from Cliff to 77, and then, potentially 4th from Cliff to 77. Naturally, a lot will depend on funding level, and that's sort of our starting point. That doesn't necessarily mean we'll get enough funding to do everything, but we feel like, this is a positive step in moving towards some potential infrastructure improvements down there. So that being said, I'm gonna read this resolution by title only and request, commission action to, let's move forward with this. It's resolution 2025-0812, a resolution by the Commission of Graceville, Florida, approving an application for a State of Florida Rural Infrastructure Fund RIF grant for the construction of public infrastructure improvements for Graceville, Florida, providing an effective date. So I just need a motion and a second for us to move forward with the project as I have described.
Okay, Michelle, the commission?
So moved.
Good. Second, okay. All in favor, raise your hand. Unanimous?
Okay.
Chair, let me ask you one question. On downtown, the area where, look like all the bushes done growed up and stuff, is there anything we can do with that?
What, between the buildings?
Yeah.
Yeah, that alleyway is actually privately owned, but, you know, we're hoping through the course of this that we might be able to, touch base with a family that owns that and maybe be able to do something with that.
Sure. Can I go ahead and add that modification, like to add the 640s?
Frank, he wants to add a modification to the agenda, Curtis
The
does.
commission's already acted on that.
So, it actually should have been modified, I guess, when we were at the approval or modification point, but, I mean,
If you call for anything to add to the modification, we have asked that, we have just started just going down, like the homeless and all that, so we have asked anything need to be added to the modification.
Well, what happened is, when I asked, I need a motion to approve the agenda's printed, that's when it should have been, you know,
But I had to wait for her to ask, do we wanna add to the modification?
okay, that's the mayor that actually does that.
Yes.
I
Okay.
actually don't do that,
I'm
but
sorry, my bad.
that's okay, that's all right. Alright, so let's move to the change orders really quick. We got 3 change orders as it relates to the fire department construction grant. No surprise, the first one is actually for rain delays. It is change order number 5 to that project, and it writes in 18 rain days, which we've certainly had those. So we probably need to act on these individually. So I just need a motion, a second, and a vote to approve, this change order related to rain days.
I move we approve, prime contract change order number 005.
Second.
okay.
And just to clarify, that was 0 money impact.
All in favor of that, raise your hand. It's unanimous.
The next one is change order number 006. This is actually some deductions, in the amount of $21,948. It is some changes in landscaping rather than sod. They are going to do some seeding. They're changing the type of fencing that was initially in the design work, and I'll get to the reason for this change order with the third change order. So again, this is change order 006, is a deduction of $21,948.
I'll make the motion to approve 006, but I have a question after the second.
A second.
Okay?
So is this, and I'm sure that you've looked into this, but this is something that is acceptable to the grant for this, to have this type of
Yes.
fencing? It's something the engineers signed off on,
Yes,
it's all approved.
yes,
Well, that saves, almost $22,000 there, so.
right.
Okay, all in favor of this change, raise your hand. Unanimous?
Okay, so conversely, change order number 7, relates to some drainage issues that the contractors and engineers have run into on what would be the backside of the fire department. And it is extraordinarily wet. And what engineers are recommending is coming in and putting in, an under drain, some people call it a French drain, and crushed concrete. We just do not have enough money in the grant budget to do full concrete back there. My hopes are to find a funding source and come back and maybe do the concreting, in a different grant phase, but there's just not enough grant money in this particular construction grant to cover $125,000 worth of concrete. So that being said, this change order is an increase of $17,750 for the crushed concrete and the French drain, also known as an under drain, to help drain that, water out of that area. So I just need a motion and a second to move forward with executing that.
Wish it was commission.
I have a question. Have the engineers looked at the detailed costs that derive this number from the contractor instead of us just accepting this lump sum? I mean, it looks favorable to me in understanding what's involved with French drains.
Yes, they did.
Okay.
Yeah,
Thanks.
Rod's spent a great deal of time out there just trying to come up with good options, and so he's been very involved.
And obviously the fire change orders offset this. and
Exactly,
Leaves us $2,000 or $3,000 even left over.
yes.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Okay. I make a motion that we allow this change order number 007.
Okay, all in favor, raise your hand. Unanimous?
All right, managers report. Let's talk about grant update real quick. MO 112 sewer hardening, $6,347,700. Just to recap, this is the grant that is hardening of the sewer system, specifically, lift station renovations, bypass pumps, or generators, and SCADA at those subject lift stations. The plans and specs have, actually, at this point, been released by the Department of Commerce, and advertisement for construction will be forthcoming. So, we're moving along with that one. MO 172, the water hardening, that's $1,154,728. That is for the, hardening of the water system. That would be generators at each of the wells, SCADA system, where it can be remotely monitored. All of the final specs have been received from the SCADA, company to the engineers, and we should have, final plans ready to submit to Department of Commerce for review in 30 to 45 days. The MO 174, which is the inflow and infiltration project, $4,441,751. The study and assessment continues. That's a system-wide project, so it is very large, encompasses a huge scope. So we're trying to get MO 112 and MO 172 wrapped up so that we can focus harder on MO 174, because that's quite a project. Fire department construction, $2,163,500. Construction's at approximately 70%. Thinking of completion around November, where we could probably take occupancy at that point. The fire truck, grant, $880,000. We have an expected delivery date of February of 2026. Chief Dennis has, done a lot of work as far as researching equipment to go on this truck. And so the truck has actually been manufactured by Rosenbauer, and then it will, be transported to the company that will install all of the apparatuses and equipment on it. It's going to be a very well-equipped, very nice truck. We're expecting full delivery of that February of 26. The splash pad project, $650,000. The procurement is under review, and I have begun the preliminary environmental study work with the Department of Commerce. So it's moving, you know, environmental takes a minute, so, you know, but we're working on it, so that's a good thing. Cliff Street and Second, and our engineers are here tonight. I'm gonna give you a quick update, and then I'm gonna let these guys talk to y'all some. Plans have been submitted to DOT, and DOT has actually agreed to allocate additional funds to the project. The project at this point is funded at, $1,059,992. But DOT has worked very closely with the engineers to come up with some type of resolution related to the bridge. The design cost naturally has gone up significantly because DOT's bounced it back and forth to them a number of times. And I expect construction costs will go up, and our understanding is that once it's bid out and we know a final number, DOT has expressed a willingness to allocate additional funds to us to cover the project, but I'll turn it over to you.
Okay, thank you. I'm Tommy John, this is Seth Gay. We're with All Bay Highland Engineering, Mariana, preparing the plans for the roadway project along Cliff Street, 2nd Avenue. That's Cliff Street from Prim Avenue up to Peanut Road, and then 2nd Avenue from Brown Street over to Peanut Road. As Ms. Watkins said, we're at phase 2, 60% plans. Those were sent out to DOT for review and to the city as well. I'm here just to give a little report on that, see if anyone has any comments or questions. I'll be as brief or as detailed as you care for me to be. The structure itself, our plans currently have the rehabilitation of the structure to get the thing open as quick as we can. I know folks are tired of having that be closed. The unofficial word through reliable sources through the department is that the funding of the ultimate replacement is still very much a top priority and is very likely, yet unofficially announced, to be selected into the work program by November. That's when the work program hearings take place and where the public's made aware of the projects. But that's the #1 priority for this type of structure for the state of Florida, in fact. So we're confident that project's going to be ready to be replaced. Meanwhile, we're going to get it open as quick as we can through this project, which is a separate project married through separate funding to this roadway rehab project. What else? So our timeline for plans completion currently, and I think you and I have discussed that no rehab can take place on this structure until we want the new replacement project to be loaded and be created as a true project in the DOT's work program. Once that takes place, then we can do whatever we need to do to get it open. Right now, we're at 60% plans, looking toward 90s in September, 100% plans by holidays, hopefully November, if not early December, and then by the first of the year, we should be able to advertise for award. One thing I wanted to bring up that I'm hoping is not a surprise to you folks if they ever work through these projects is that this type funding won't pay for the city's utility fixtures that are impacted by the roadway project. So the valve adjustments, water valves, any sanitary manhole covers that have to be adjusted, that'll be quantified and bid separately within this bid. So your contractors that are bidding on the project will ultimately give you the best price. We'll select the best contract with the lowest bid, but there's, I think we quantified 4 valves and seven manholes. We've not popped the manholes to know whether we're talking about storm sewer or gravity flow sanitary. You guys may have the answer to that question without us having to pop the lids, but storm sewer we can accommodate the project, but if there's sanitary sewers, then that'll be quantified. And I've got some statewide averages for both of those types. So for valve box adjustments, the statewide average is $963 each. For manhole adjustments, right at $1,600 each, times 1,600 times 7 that's out there, 960 times the 4 valves, for whatever that math comes to. But we'll get better figures and, like I said, identify what those manholes are ahead of final plans. So on Cliff Street, that is, the roadway itself is 19 foot on average. There will be 2 foot of widening on each side to accommodate 2 10-foot travel lanes. There is one tree that I thought I should bring up on the park side, south of the creek. That's a water oaks, 30-something inches. That's gonna come out in the project. We like to bring that up early because we've had projects where trees cause problems for folks. And, but that tree is noted in plans to be removed. I guess that's the gist of it. I'll be glad to answer any questions. Like I said, by the end of the year, we should have final plans and ready to bid first of next year.
So this tree, is that, you all gonna remove it, or will the city have to?
No, it's included in plans through the clearing and grubbing items, the contractor, size and everything pointed out, they'll take care of that. Recently, I guess it was last week on Second, the west end of Second, we did install a traffic counter camera to collect the traffic volumes. Because we learned that, we had some comments to our DOT review where they were citing the need for possible guardrail here and this being in what we call the clear zone for vehicles. Well, all that protection is governed by the vehicle speeds and volumes. What's already posted is low speed. We were 25 throughout. Volumes, the cutoff is 400 vehicles. So we counted vehicles on Second Avenue last week and we were at 300 something. So we're under the threshold that would make us have to jump a lot of hoops to protect.
More expensive project.
Yeah, so we've got that number and that helps us a lot actually. That's all I can think of, but feel free to reach out to.
So what kind of weight limit would that have? What kind of weight limit would it take?
Weight limit on the new structure?
Mhm.
It won't be posted once it's rehabilitated.
Right.
Yeah. I'm not a structures guy, I'm a railway guy.
It'll be just like any other state bridge. It'll be rated to handle any traffic.
Okay, so just as a quick note to follow up.
Now,
Sorry.
The
go ahead.
rehab, I was thinking about the bridge replacement. The rehab will be what it was before it was closed. So it will be posted. Can't remember what it was. I don't know if it was 4 tons. I think.
I don't know.
But we can get you that number.
So as a quick note, quick follow-up, the cost as it relates to the valves and the manholes, somewhere around $15,000. And just as another quick note, the public works guys are going to come through and replace those water lines. We have intentionally not done that until we're closer to construction, because, I mean, it really tears a road up when you come through putting those new lines in. But we are going to, do the water lines in-house. And we'll do as much of this in-house if we possibly can, but most of the valve and manhole work will probably have to be contracted out. But we are gonna come in there and put in new water lines on the front end of the project, so we're not disrupting pavement once we get it down.
Question, down below the south end of town, where the sewer pipe, we're gonna dive back into planning on that after it cools off. We're talking about going through the wet area down behind the sawmill down there. So we could get a bid on the
Oh, the
A-frame.
affluent pipe.
Yes.
The affluent pipe, yes. We will re-advertise that affluent pipe project, which is about a $95,000 grant. It's a different grant than this one that we're talking about, but, we're going to put that back out for construction bid, and, I've been working with John Sims from Dewberry, and we're going to see if we can't maybe path that to some contractors that we think might be willing to do that work. But yes, that is also still on the books, that project. Anything else about Clifford Second?
I do, I have a question. How does that affect the property owners where that bridge is? I know the park's on one side, but what about the property owners? You said you're extending it 2 feet on each side.
It'll be within the
right.
existing right of way. Driveway turnouts will be married, like, so if the road's coming up a couple inches, we'll feather out, asphalt or wrap, which is rubberized asphalt, depending on the driveway type. The driveways won't be affected, they'll be improved for the most part.
Is there, and correct me if I'm wrong, I'm not familiar with all this, is there like, isn't it like a 4-foot easement from the road or something to the property? So will that back down to 2 since you're
No.
gonna do 2 feet, or?
No permanent right-of-way impacts. The right-of-way lines as owned by the city will stay as they are, property owners, there's no right-of-way impacts. So it'll all take place within the existing city right-of-way.
And those right of ways are different from street to street, road to road. They're not
Well,
necessarily.
I own property on the other side where that bridge was damaged, and there is no driveway on that end. So if they're gonna go 2 feet onto my property, then I lose 2 feet of my property
It'll
for
be-
that if they're
It is on the
extending.
actual right of way,
Right.
it won't go on to the property.
So your unpaved grass shoulder that's there now, it is part of the roadway, it's part of the ownership of the city. 2 feet of that will be paved.
Yeah, I think that was my concern, like, I understand that 2 feet, and, like, will it be another 4 feet after that 2 feet, or, like, how does that work?
The ditches will be maintained, will tie in, and the back slopes, you know, which there's not super steep ditches through there. But
The right of way footage does not change.
No, I think though, you're talking about the description of your property descriptions based off the center line of the road though, not the edge line of the road. Just because the edge line of the road moves, your property line doesn't move. So you still own the same amount before, after.
yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm gonna run through a few project updates real quick. Florida Power and Light has installed, lights at the tennis courts and basketball courts. Nice, really bright LED lights. We have to have, an electrician come in though and do some work in the breaker boxes to just get them fully functioning. Hoping that might possibly happen tomorrow. He talked like he may be in town tomorrow. We're also going to get him to work on the Bayline Park circuit of lights that's been out for quite some time. Paving of Patterson Circle, portions of Pelham Court, and those cuts on College Drive appear to get, for the most part, wrapped up today. It looks really nice. It looks really good. Well repairs at well number 6, we talked about that on the regular agenda items. They're actually already out there working. I'm sure y'all probably seen those really large cranes. They've been out there working since the middle part of last week. So we should have that back up and going within the next 7 days. The public works guys got out and did a significant amount of work on a drainage ditch over on Ezell Street close to 10. It was undermining pretty significantly. So they've come in and done some remedial work there. It looks really good. We've naturally had some rain and it has held well, so we're just keeping an eye on that to make sure that, it doesn't continue to undermine from the bottom. We're going through a software conversion of our water billing software, mid-September. The software company has bumped this forward, one time. So September 16th is gonna be the go date for that. Should be a little more user-friendly for the customers from iPhones, laptops. It's just going to be an easier solution than our current software. Harvest Festival work is underway. We've got about 40 spots left for vendors, no water or electricity. And just as a note, school started back, so everybody be careful,
Come on.
watching for buses and kids, and it's that time of the year. We got ethics training coming up this week on the 14th from 10 to 2 here at City Hall. And there's a very long list of community events in this packet. I'm not gonna try to go through all of them, but y'all have a list. And I think Misty left a couple of announcements. One was about Jacob City Day, and the other one is a fall festival in Marietta that they asked for us to distribute to y'all. That being said, that's all that I have, Mr. Mayor, unless y'all have questions for me.
No, Jake?
He stepped out, I'm not sure. Let me go see if I can find him.
Hopefully we'll start seeing some construction from these grants very soon. That's kind of exciting. I know the fire department looks really well. If y'all are in the area, go by and take a look at it. They've got drywall up. It's really starting to take form and take shape now. It's gonna be a really nice facility.
The end project will take time.
Yes, it does. And the rain has certainly not helped. There's been times that's been very challenging for the contractors, but they persevered through it.
Jake, you wanna do the, code enforcement?
Oh, since our last regular meeting, we've had 2 complaints. One was at, 5424 Pearl Street. We're still trying to get in contact with the homeowner. And the other one at 901 12th Street for, garbage and debris in that area. We made contact with him. He's in the process of working on cleaning it up.
And also on code enforcement, we can't do nothing about code enforcement. It needs the public to always make a request. Some people wonder why we can't do nothing because it looks like we're trying to control the city. But that's why it takes citizens to make a complaint to the city, and then that's when we step in. So now, do we have any citizen comments?
Yeah.
Please stand and come to the microphone, please.
Oh,
Say
you
your
can
name.
hear me from where I am, I think.
Yeah, but I just come and say your name so we know who you are.
Okay. What you wanna know? You want me up here to tell you who I am or what?
Yeah.
My name is Callie Broxton and I'm part of Patterson Circle. I wanted to, comment on what Michelle said about Patterson Circle. Are they finished then?
They've probably got some dressing up and finishing to do, but the actual thickness is where it's gonna be right now.
No, they ain't coming in front of my house yet.
Mine either.
Well,
They
we,
stopped about right there with Kelly.
well, you know, we only had $96,000, and so we had to pare it down to that original scope where the lines had been cut, where we've done all of the water work and lateral work. And hopefully, in this next bonus cycle, we're gonna be able to come in and do a phase 2 over there. But the 96,000, that was about as far as we could take it.
Okay, so now, the budget is gonna come in 2026,
Yes, we'll be working on the budget over the next few weeks, so.
oh, okay,
Yeah,
great.
New money starts October 1st,
yes,
and then it takes a little while to let the revenue build up when you do a big hit like a 6-figure job, something that may cost 80, 100,000. And we got a price to do it all.
Okay.
This pump that went out that cost us 70,000, that's when we had to back up a little bit and not do it this year, but we're gonna try to work it in just as soon as we can.
Okay. But back to the paving of Patterson Circle, the tree limbs, grass and all that stuff, that just as you come into Patterson Circle, it's on the right there.
Okay.
And I was told years ago that it was gonna be kept clean by the city, but it's never been done by the city.
let me get with you and get your phone number, I think I had it at one point,
Okay.
and just meet you out there, maybe tomorrow, if
Yeah,
you're gonna be
that'd be
available.
great.
So So just get with me and I'll get your phone number after the meeting, and then we'll get together tomorrow and go look at it.
Okay, one more thing about Sanders Avenue. Are we doing anything about the, houses there that's falling in and?
Again, you know, we as government officials, we can't make complaints and Jake can't initiate complaints.
Michelle,
Somebody from the public has to call in a complaint as it relates to properties.
I cut that, Kelly, I cut that yard over there and I talked to the Brockton lady. She said she was gonna get with, it's another guy that got insurance. And, she was gonna get with him, find out what the figure is and everything, and, she gonna try to get them houses towed out.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
alright.
But
Okay,
yeah,
she-
I got that part right there, cause
Okay.
I cut that.
Great, thank you.
Again, more citizen comments?
I have a question.
Yes.
Is there, Mr. Pinker had mentioned, and I know it was past the approval of the agenda,
Right.
will there be a future agenda where he will be able to make his motion for the police department to have their 6, like he asked?
Well, anytime that we start, it's, when we get ready to, do the approval of the agenda, he can come in and say, I need to make a amendment to the agenda. And that's how it goes.
And I'll do that next week.
Okay, so is that it, Dr. Nichols?
I'd like to thank the number of you here that have been very encouraging, the last couple of weeks of dealing with what we've been dealing with, and I wanna thank you for your kind comments. Thank you for the dialogue that we've had, and, so I wanna see things move in this town. I wanna see things get better, and I wanna see us work together and make this happen. This is a great place. It's been a great place for me to raise my children, and I want everybody to be able to experience that. I'd like to see businesses in all these buildings. I would like to see us have nicest roads and the nicest, and we've got infrastructure underground that is the best of any city around here. And we need somebody to come and utilize that. So we need to be proactive as a community. We need to stick together, and there's a lot of negativity out there. There's a lot of negativity on the computer and in the media, and that just hurts my heart. My intention is to try to make this place better, and I want you to help me. And I appreciate you guys working with us, Michelle and your staff, for all that you do, and there's a lot of stuff happening right here, and that's a great thing, and it's making us better. Y'all, let's get together and make this happen. Thank you.
I have a question, can I say? My question is that, when you talking about the police department, you had 7, spots, right? Do y'all have 7 spots?
There
before?
were 7
Okay,
positions.
so those 7 positions, they was they in the budget? Cause
I
one,
put it over in last year's budget.
okay, so my question is, so they're not in the budget now? For
Well-
the 7 police?
Understand, we've not put a formal budget together at this point. We were trying to determine a staffing level to put in a budget so that we could move forward. You know, it's very difficult to put a budget together if you don't know specifically the numbers that you're working with. So, you know, during the course of the budget workshop process and the budget hearing process, you know, budgets will be discussed again at length.
Okay, cause I was asking, cause where I work at, I know, with the contract we have, whatever, and they have like, for instance, you may have positions like, I'm gonna use for example, like, I'm saying 20, direct care staff. Okay, so you may get rid of, and everything of 20, you may get rid of like 5, but the money is still there. So that's why I'm asking you all with the, police, since you have 7 positions, so that means that the money that you had in there is not in there anymore, correct?
Well,
That makes sense what I'm saying?
the money is in the current budget.
Okay, so where's that money going
Even
in?
if the staffing level has not reached that point, that money was budgeted in the current budget that we're working out of. Understand, we're working on a new budget for
Okay.
26.
Okay, so the money, so the money, still asking, so the money, so it's not in there, what you trying to say, the money that y'all in there for the 7 is not in there now?
For 26, there was discussion and a vote for 5 positions. And so that's where we will start with, to put a budget together for the 26 police budget.
Okay, so
But
now,
again, that will all be discussed during the course of workshops and public hearings and all that.
so the 20, so what has been in the 25th, we still in, 2025.
Yes.
So is that,
Will till 9:30.
okay, so the 7, which we got 5 now, so the 7, the 2 position that's open, are the money still in there? Because you said you're going another one in 26.
Right.
So where is that money going at? The 20, for the 2, police positions,
Well-
where's that money going at? I'm just asking.
Well, again, and we'll get into this.
So you're asking, like, the money that we hadn't spent this year, where's that going? Is that what you're asking?
Yeah, for the position that you
You're
got.
saying the money, it just hadn't been spent.
It hasn't been spent, so
It
it's
hasn't-
in,
it hasn't
it's
spent.
in there.
It's in the reserve of what we have. Hadn't been spent, so that's what's allowing us to be able to pull from. It's kinda like, you got a little bit of money left after you bought gas to go to work and stuff, you've got that to work with. So I see what you're saying. It's always good to have money left if we have any left. So,
Yeah, if you have any, okay. Cause I was thinking, just getting back at saying this, and I know we wanna get back on the 9% and all that, so that money could be towards them. But I know you can just start another.
Well, and you gotta remember, and again, we're gonna get into all of that during the course of workshops and all of that.
Thank you for answering the question.
But, you gotta remember that we did have some increasing cost as it relates to retirement, so that kind of bumped that number up some. But we'll get more in depth in that with workshops and the budget hearings.
So thank everybody for coming out tonight, and thank you for those who did make comments tonight. We appreciate your participation in what we do in this city. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I like to thank the citizens for coming out. Believe me, I heard your prayer. And y'all voted us in here to do y'all bid. We work for y'all. Y'all don't work for us. And I know in my heart that the citizens that I talked with came to me, they are concerned and they love about their police force. I said last night, we can ride when I will. But I wanna add in the next general, excuse me, I'm out of order. Put another man in on the fleet with them. They need 6 men, at least 6. Because it's hard to go out and do a job. Heaven forbid, you need backup and just one man on duty. That's impossible. Cause he needs somebody to cover his back. He can't go out and control the crowd of people. And then somebody come behind him, he needs 2 men need to go. I know the sheriff department come in, but look how long it's gonna take them. And I'd like to thank the citizens for your comment, and I'm gonna do my best to do what y'all asked us to do. If all power to what I can do, I'm trying to do it. So I'm gonna let you know I got y'all back. And also I'd like to thank the administrators, the police officer, chief here fireman. We here for the people. We're not here for ourselves. We're not here to please make the difference of us five up here. We out here working for the city. And if so far all of the city people had came, they want the police force and they asking for more help with the police officer. So if the chief come and say, hey, I need at least 6, 7 guys, we gotta do it trying to make them, cause their job is difficult. And we can't go out there and let them be undermanned, hell be something gonna happen to them, then gonna look like, dang, we should've did this, and I can't live with my conscience like that. So, what I'm trying to say, if y'all let me, I will put on the agenda next month and see what the commission wanna do. But I'm for adding an extra manpower to their force, cause we need that. And that's what the people want. They want to feel secure in their town. And by having the police and that's when they need them, it's not gonna help them. We can't wait till the last minute. No money, no nothing is more work than a human being life. And this is what we dealing with. We need our officers, they bring security to our town, that's what we need. Thank y'all, I'm sorry for calling rush, but we need our law enforcement, and we need the people, they asked us, that's what they want us to do, so I'm all for it. Thank y'all.
First of all, I don't thank God for the people all the time and stuff, and what he done touched us with already and stuff. We got so many things going on right now and stuff, and so many people, different minds and stuff, and sometimes it's hard for us to make a decision. You know, it could be the right decision, it could be the wrong decision, but we're trying to make the right decision, not just for the bunch in here right now. We're trying to make the decision for everybody, even the people that didn't even show up. We have to listen to them too. So if y'all would just be a little patient with us and everything, and I'm pretty sure we'll make the right decision. And it's gonna benefit the whole time, not just part of the time, y'all. You know, we're trying to do the thing that's right for the whole time and stuff, you know. Everybody got their own side that they wanna, you know, jump to and everything. But we, as commissioner, staff right here and stuff, you know, we wanna do the thing for the whole community. Not like 5-10% of it, just all of 100% everybody and stuff. So, y'all be a little patient with us, and I guarantee you we'll do the right thing. Thank y'all.
As I don't think about coming and think about comments, you know, I've lived all over the world, and everywhere I lived at, always been a good place. And I think we all need to have that mindset, because I used to have soldiers, and there was two places that they used to love. That was the place they just left, and the place they going to. So if we love where we at, but we can make some changes. That's why we're here tonight. We listen to people. So we can listen to people, and we can make this place a better place. But I always believe where I'm at is always a good place, because if it wasn't a good place, I would leave. So I want to just tell everybody, just try to think on the positive. And if you think of something that's gonna make Graceville better, come to the meeting and just make your voice known. Because just like Ms. Broxton got up and started talking about Patterson Circle, but see, if we don't know about that, we can't do nothing about it. So when we listen to you guys, and you begin to just voice your opinion, I mean, but sometimes we can't do everything you ask. You know, and sometimes, you know, you might have 10 people want this, but you may have 100 want something else. So we got to go with what the people really want. And so that's what we're here to do, try to make this city a better place. I mean, everybody in here is blessed. So, and we just need to kind of just work together, and working together, we can get somewhere. If we begin to just try to always find something negative, you know, we can't get nowhere like that. But if we work together, we can do something. So I just want to thank you, and I want to thank all the police department, the admin, and the fire chief. I know I seen you run out the building the other day. So, you know, we know that you're doing your job. So I just wanted to thank all the workers, and I get emotional, so, you know, because I love my community. So thank you, everybody.